Hello everybody, this video is about how to install the Ideal Pet Products Designer Series super large rough weather pet door on an outside wall. Now, the problem with installing this pet door is that because of the size of the door, you're going to run into a stud. And on an outside wall, you just can't afford to just cut that stud out. You have to have some sort of bracing for it. Now I just have this sitting on the floor, but it's going to be mounted obviously higher than that. This is for a Great Dane with a shoulder height of about 33 inches. So you have to have the cutout go about 2 inches higher than that, so that there's enough height so the dog can fit comfortably, lower his head at the shoulder through the door as well. But you see the width of this won't fit in between the studs. And so what I'm going to have to do is I have to cut out that stud right there in the center, and I'm going to brace it with a 4x4 and create kind of a reinforcement for that, and I'll show you that in a minute. According to the instructions, you should take the shoulder height of your dog and add 2 inches, so that puts the shoulder height right at 35 inches. I need to add 3.5 inches here for a 4x4 that's going to go across the studs. And then on the edges, I'm going to have to put a 2x4, maybe on each side, just to support it. I've temporarily taped my template up about where the dog door cutout is going to be. So I want to know where I'm going to mount the 2x4s on the left and right side underneath the 4x4 that goes above it. And over here you can see I moved it a little bit, but where those two black lines are, not the ones that are squiggled out. And these over here, I want those to be on each side of the dog door to help support the sides of the door. And there'll be a 4x4 on top. And notice where the old dog door was, there's a gap there. It's okay on the inside because once I go ahead and reframe this, I'm going to mount a new piece of drywall and patch it and paint it so that I'm doing the installation fresh, but I know that behind all of this is a framework that'll support the door. So I ran across a little surprise. There's a wire that goes through the stud right next to where I need to put my jack stud. That'll be a king stud there. So what I've done is I turn the power off and I cut it, and I'm going to put an electrical outlet there on the left, and then I extended it up with an outlet outside. Now here I'm going to cut my stud right in the middle, and you see I've got a board mounted and screwed into the top just to keep anything from shifting. So next step is going to be having that header put in. So this is my header. It's fabricated with two 2x4s with a 1/2 inch piece of plywood in between, and I left a little gap there for the wiring that's going to come down on this side. Glued and screwed. So here's the dog door framed with the template temporarily taped in place. So you see how it's going to fit. I probably overdid it in terms of framing, but I wanted it to have support on both of the sides as well as the top and bottom. And I do have a door kit that I'll be putting in. So essentially now what I need to do is to go ahead and finish the electrical and patch the drywall, and then I will recut this this opening for the door. More later. Hey Stella, that's for you. Pretty soon. I don't need any help. So the electrical's in. It's all framed. Don't forget to put some insulation back in. And then on the outside of the door opening, mark where your frame is. So when you later on hang your template, you know where to hang it. I've patched and painted the wall. So it's just like a brand new wall, but there is a frame behind it. And down at the bottom, I marked with a hole the location of the bottom of the frame so I know where to place the template. Next up is cutting out the hole for the dog door and installing it. This is a super critical part of the process, hanging the template. You want to hang the template so that it's level on both the top and both sides. Then what you want to do is you want to probe into the corners on the far left, there on the upper and on the right. You probe basically with a nail just to make sure that there's no wood behind either the mounting holes or where the cutout is. Probe top and bottom, left and right. Then you're going to mark your pilot hole. That's a 1/4 inch. What I'm going to use is a long, very long 1/4 inch drill bit. You'll place this here on your drill through the drywall, and once you drill through the drywall, when you go to drill all the way through the other side, you want to make sure that it is level this way and square this way before you drill through the wood siding on the outside. Otherwise, these holes won't match up on the other end. So we'll show you how that works in a minute. Once you've drilled both of your pilot holes, leave the drill in the wall. I'll show you why in a minute. You'll place your outside template through those pilot holes where the drill is, and then on the left side I just used a nail to help place the template in that pilot hole. Tape it back up and then remark your holes and you're good to go. The instructions tell you to drill 8 1/2 inch diameter outer screw holes and 4 inside diameter starter holes, 3/8 inch. But I'm not going to do that because I'm using this handy vibrating tool and I can just cut right through the drywall. But when it comes to the outside, I'm going to have to use a saber saw, so I'll be cutting those pilot holes. Here's what it looks like with the inside drywall cut. You'll see I've kept enough distance from my left and right frame here. My header is right about here, so I could have had a little bit lower, but that's fine. For this installation, I'm using the rough weather wall installation kit, which includes the longer screws. It also includes this top and bottom inside liner. You'll have to maybe cut the screws, which is fine. I put them in a bench vise, cut them with a hacksaw. There's instructions there on how to do that. But it's always a good idea to remove the inner flap when you're working with this. You just take the screws out of the top and pull the inner flap off. So next we're just going to go ahead and finish the whole installation by putting in the installation kit inner liner. So there it is, final dog door installed, all cleaned up, trim put in place, and paint and patched. Everything's done. Ready for the dogs to use it. Good luck. Okay, now teaching your dog to use the dog door. You see, she wants to go out there where she normally goes. And here is the new dog door. So they have one of these in their other house, so they know exactly how to use it, but they're so used to doing things a certain way, as far as they're concerned, there's only one way out. So you got to show them. Stella Rose, come on, come on. It's helpful if you pull the flaps toward you so they're out of the way. Come on, come, come, come on, come on, come on. You can do it, yay! And there you go. So we have 2 Danes. The younger one will do anything for a treat. She'll run through both flaps. But the older one, she's reluctant to use it, even though she's already has one in our other home. So what you can do is just remove both flaps, let it sit there for a while. she'll eventually learn to go in and out, and then slowly introduce one of the two flaps, and then after a while the second flap, and that should do it. So then you can gradually introduce one flap of the two, so they get used to going in and out with the flap, and then after a while the second flap.